Hello and welcome to Imagine Amazing, Oregon HFMA's podcast with its current president. This season, we are doing something new. You can continue to enjoy us on your favorite podcast platform, but now you can also watch this podcast on YouTube, where you can see the faces behind the voices. To find us, go to YouTube and in the search area, type in Oregon HFMA and subscribe.
Today we'll be meeting with the chapter's new president, Tammie Coon, discussing what members can expect from the chapter during these unique times. We'll also be discussing the impacts of COVID-19 on healthcare in Oregon.
I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Johnson.
And I'm your other host, Kelly Smith. I'm very happy to announce that this episode of Imagine Amazing is brought to you today by one of our diamond sponsors, AppRev. AppRev delivers industry-leading solutions that enable providers to optimize revenue cycle performance. Using cloud-based software supported by AppRev experts, providers are able to identify, quantify, resolve, and measure key revenue cycle issues. AppRev's solutions combine software with consulting and include charge accuracy, denials, intelligence, and pricing analytics. Thank you, AppRev.
Hey, Tammie, welcome to the podcast. We're very excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Excited to be here and serving as Oregon's HFMA president for the 2021 chapter calendar year. We're definitely into some very interesting times, and the chapter's doing some amazing things and bringing incredible education, networking, and value to our members.
Tammie, we are so excited to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and help our listeners know what made you join HFMA and eventually get involved in volunteering and join as a leadership in the chapter?
Well, a little bit about myself. I've been married for 36 years and I have a daughter and a son. I'm an avid lover for bulldogs. I have an English bulldog named Puddles Marie Coon and a new French bulldog called Thor Michael Coon. I've worked for the same company, Haas Group, for 19 years. And I think I joined HFMA to kind of develop and learn more about the healthcare industry. As you know, it changes on a regular basis, and I needed to learn more and understand the industry. It also helped me kind of gain and develop lasting relationships, which has helped me a lot to be a better leader in my professional life. And I think I got involved really to make a difference in the chapter. The chapter is so amazing. I mean, you hear about the Oregon special sauce, and really, it really is special. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be special. I wanted to be a part of that. And I wanted to join and be in leadership and help other members get value from our chapter.
Tammie, you are special, Tammie, and it's been so much fun working with you over the years. You're going to do a great job. We're so excited to see how you carry the chapter forward this next year.
Yeah, so excited to have you with us, Tammie. And I have to admit that sauce, it's pretty tasty too, right? So if anybody's interested in experiencing that Oregon HFMA special sauce, they should check it out. I was curious, as you were sharing your experience, Tammie, do you recall what your very first role with the chapter was?
I've had many roles, but my very first role was membership and welcoming and mentoring. I kind of worked at setting up a mentorship for all of our new members, because when I started, it was really different. You came to the classes, and I didn't really have anyone to kind of take and nurture me, and that was one of the things that we kind of missed. And so one of my first co-chairs was to actually do the membership. And so I kind of said, I think we need to have some mentors. So somebody to really wrap arms around our new members and get them involved, because I spent really the first 5 years not really being involved. And then I'm like, oh, I really want to be involved and I want to be a part of this amazing chapter. And I think having mentorships and membership it's so key to help members early on learn about everything that we have to offer and be a part of that chapter and really get involved.
Totally agree.
That's awesome. Tammie, you're such a familiar face too for so many folks, because I know for years you've volunteered at the front desk. So I think you'll have a lot of folks recognize you from always stepping in to help out.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
That is my home, the registration desk.
Well, Tammie, I think one thing obviously very, very different about this year is that with the COVID-19 public health emergency, we're just not having the in-person conferences. We're not able to do that. We also have a lot of folks that are staying home and not interested in venturing out, even if we could accommodate some sort of a social distancing. So you've talked about the amazing chapter and all the things that we're doing. So can you talk a little bit about how do we plan to continue to bring education, networking, and value to the members? What are we going to do this year?
Well, we're actually doing a lot this year. So one of the things that was really important for me with my theme was, redefine what we could actually be. And part of that with COVID was, how do you still provide the education and keep members engaged? So the chapter is having monthly one-day virtual events. And so they're very shortened. So instead of having a day and a half, we're doing 3 sessions that, provide a speaker. And then we have our problem solving, which has just been a key to our chapter of really being able to get all of our providers in a room and talk about all of the things that are going on, especially during COVID and how they're handling certain things. And so every month we're having a one-day virtual event that includes our problem solving and it includes networking. We're also co-partnering with other regions. And so for Region 11, we're also providing virtual webinars every single month. So members can, if they can't make it to the one-day conference, they can tune into our webinars. And then we're also, for our enterprise members, we want to still bring them value as well, so they can still come to our one-day event, but we're also doing quarterly roadshows to where we're holding these sessions for educational purposes for our enterprise members as well. So we are still bringing a lot of content and education to our members, and really hoping that we'll do that through this year, and then hopefully come off strong in 2021 with a in-person conference. And if not, then we will continue with our monthly virtual conferences so that we can still provide the education to our members.
Wow.
That's awesome. And we've done 2 so far, I think. We had one in July, one in August. Congratulations. How many folks attended? Do you know? What was that? What did that look like?
We had, I believe on the first one, we had about 101 attend. And I think this last one we had right around 100 attend as well. So we've had some good attendance, which is great, because considering we normally have our conferences in May and then July and then October. So these are kind of off months that we wouldn't normally have a conference. So I thought it was really good attendance. And, we're really making sure that our sponsors, our sessions are geared towards what our members need right now, and just kind of looking at making sure that we're providing them really key topics for them during this difficult time.
That's awesome, Tammie. I love how you were talking about all the things that the chapter is doing to push things online. And I know that you mentioned, obviously, our YouTube channel. We mentioned that before in the podcast and how it's out there, and there's a lot of great content. What would you say to those members that are still looking to get their certification? Is that still available to them?
Yeah, so great question. So with the educations, we made sure that our classes, you can still get your CPE credits, and we are still working towards getting certification. So our wonderful certification committee is working hard, and in February we're going to be doing the certification as well. So stay tuned to those emails that are going out. We are still moving forward with getting our members certified, because we know that's important, and we also know that those CPA credits are important for ongoing education as well.
That's awesome. I just want to point out for any of the listeners that if you are interested in doing your certification, and there are many certifications available through HFMA, you can find out more about those by visiting the Oregon HFMA website, which is www.oregonhfma.org. So check that out and see what's available to you.
Yeah, Tammie, congratulations. Definitely very innovative, very exciting, and you turned that around pretty quickly. We hadn't had much notice, so to already have implemented 2 monthly conferences, very exciting, and shows really that being a member of Oregon HFMA, even during this times, you can still get a lot of value from the chapter because we're continuing to deliver that education. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been exciting. I was a little worried coming into my year with a COVID year and not knowing what to expect. But, the Oregon chapter, being the Oregon chapter, is doing what we do best. And we are moving forward during these difficult times and still providing what our members expect.
I had the opportunity to listen in on the conferences, and I agree you brought some great speakers, and I really enjoyed the CFO panel to hear about what hospitals are doing during this time, what are their challenges, some great keynotes. And for me, I've been working at home now for months, and it was really refreshing to have a change of pace and to get education online, and I could do it right from my home, and I enjoyed the social activities that you planned afterwards. So, I mean, it was very seamless, and I would encourage anybody to attend. It was great.
I totally agree, Kelly. I really enjoyed the problem solving, getting to see everybody up on that Zoom meeting and have that personal interaction. I almost felt like we were back at a conference, even though we weren't, but so much valuable content was shared during that. I wish that could have gone on for hours because it was so good. So totally agree.
Yeah. What's also great too is with being virtual is a lot of our hospitals that can't travel. So our members can actually attend now that it's virtual. And so, those that want that education that couldn't come before now can actually join in and still get their education. So that's great. And the problem solving has always been huge for the Oregon chapter. And now that you mentioned it, during our enterprise sessions, we are also structuring our enterprise sessions to be very similar to our problem solving and having different areas of the revenue cycle, and then just trying to get a lot of our enterprise members to talk about that. Kelly, you, I know, are a big opponent for enterprise members. I think you're more really familiar with this. Do you want to kind of talk about how we've restructured that?
Sure. So we had a lot of fun last year doing the on-site events and presenting in person. Of course, that wasn't an option this year. And so we will be bringing a virtual one-day session, 3-hour sessions to our enterprise members and encouraging them to apply. I think what's really fun about the enterprise membership organizations is it's intended to be available to any staff. It doesn't matter what level in the organization you are. We want anybody that's part of revenue cycle or finance to have an opportunity to get to know a little bit more about what HFMA is about. And what we really recognize is that HFMA for us has been a great way to get to know our peers in the industry, so that when we have problems or we have questions and we want to be able to reach out and find out what others are doing, because of HFMA, we now have developed this whole community. And so many of those staff have never attended a conference and don't have the opportunity to meet their peers. And so we're creating that environment for them. So next month, we will be hosting an online event where we're encouraging our enterprise members to come. And we're going to tee it off with kind of the problem solving idea, where it's tell us about what you're doing well, tell us about what your challenges are, ask your questions that you have, see how we might be able to help you. And then we're also going to give each of the organizations a chance to share their org charts, because there's no one way to do revenue cycle or finance. Everybody's hospital has a little bit different model, and we thought it might be interesting to give those hospitals a chance to show us, what does your structure look like? So if I'm an enterprise member, I can see it and figure out who's like me and who's maybe somebody that I'd reach out to if I had a question in the future, and try to develop those relationships virtually since we can't be in person. So we're going to give it a try. We're going to want a lot of feedback, but I'm excited to see how that works.
Oh, that sounds exciting. That's going to be awesome. Again, for any of the listeners hearing this podcast, please understand that education is now continuously coming from the Oregon HFMA chapter. To learn more about that, again, visit the website. Always encourage you to do that, or, contact us if you have any questions. So Tammie, I know that every president, when they come in, you'd already touched on it, but we'll give you a moment to talk a little bit more about it, but they have a theme that they want to drive throughout the year. And do you want to go ahead and share again your theme and why you chose that theme?
Well, I was coming up with different themes, and it's really hard to beat Imagine Amazing because, I mean, Oregon is amazing, and that Kelly, that was a great theme for you to have. And so, kind of during that time, I was thinking about transformation, and then COVID hit, and I thought, we're going to have to totally redefine how we bring education. And so I chose the theme of redefine, because I knew that during this time, the way that we would normally bring education was going to be non-existent. And so we would have to redevelop a way to continue to strive and thrive as a chapter. And so redefine was my theme. And I think, with everything that we're doing, I think we have started to redefine what we're doing. But Oregon has always thought outside of the box, and we're creative, we're inventive, and we've always really been redefining along the way. I think we just needed to take it another step and just say, okay, we're always proactive and we love our technology, but how do we bring our technology and really still provide that education? So redefine is kind of our theme for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And like Kelly said, it's just being part of it has been so great. And it's been truly remarkable how quickly the association has turned that around and gone virtual. Yeah. So kudos to you and everybody involved in making that a reality. As we're talking about the podcast, though, can you tell our listeners what they can expect in the next podcast?
Well, in the next podcast, we are going to have a special guest who you will find out when you stay tuned. But we also want to bring our membership team on, because I think that there's so much more that you can get from a member, from the chapter, and we really want to bring them on to talk about everything that sometimes we forget that you can have, as being a member. So we're going to bring on our membership, and we're going to talk a little bit about all the extra values. And then we'll also have our special guest who is going to be joining us too. So you're going to have to stay tuned to find out who that guest is. And I'm not telling you who it is.
Is it Santa?
Tammie. Well, I can't wait. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Imagine Amazing. We're so excited to have you this year as president. Wish you and everyone at Oregon HFMA tons of success.
Thank you.
And a reminder again, thank you to AppRev for this episode of Imagine Amazing.
Yes, this podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and all other popular podcast platforms. Please find us, like us, and follow us for exciting new content in 2020. Also, to learn more about Oregon HFMA, please visit us at www.oregonhfma.org.